Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl called Red Riding Hood. Everyone called her that because wherever she went, she wore a bright red hood. One sunny morning, her mother told her, "Honey, can you please take this basket of food and medicine to your sick grandma? She lives on the other side of the woods." "Okay, Mummy," Red Riding Hood said. "Remember, there's a big bad wolf lurking in the woods. Don't listen to anything he says. Don't even talk to him," warned her mother. "Okay, Mummy," called Red Riding Hood, already skipping down the path. But soon she forgot all about her mum's warnings about the wolf. Later, she was admiring some lovely flowers when she heard a low, growly voice behind her. She spun around just to see a huge, shaggy wolf appear in front of her. "Why don't you tell me where you're going, little girl?" the wolf growled. Red Riding Hood calmed down. "I'm taking this food and medicine to my sick grandma on the other side of the woods," she said happily. "Then I hope you have a safe trip," said the wolf, and walked away grinning. So Red Riding Hood went back on her way to her grandma's house. Meanwhile, the cunning wolf had taken a shortcut to the other side of the woods. He knocked on the door, and in a voice sweeter than the sweetest honey, he said, "Grandma, it's me, Red Riding Hood." "Come in, dear, the door is open," came the old woman's kind voice. But instead of the sweet little girl Grandma was expecting, the door burst open to reveal the dark shadow of a hungry wolf. It gnashed its teeth and growled, and poor Grandma was terrified. And that wasn't the worst bit. The wolf licked its lips and snapped the old woman up in one go. Then the wolf got dressed in Granny's clothes and tacked himself into her bed. He patted his tummy. "Time for dessert," he muttered to himself. Just then, the real Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. "Grandma, it's me, Red Riding Hood," she said. "Come in, dear, the door is open," said the wolf, imitating Grandma. Red Riding Hood went inside. Her eyes grew wide. "Grandma, what big eyes you have!" gasped Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Grandma, what big ears you have!" said Red Riding Hood. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Grandma, what big teeth you have!" gulped Red Riding Hood. "All the better to eat you with, my dear," shouted the wolf, and he swallowed Red Riding Hood as well. Outside, in the woods, a woodcutter was just chopping down trees as usual. Suddenly, he heard Red Riding Hood's pleading screams and rushed into the house to see what happened. There, inside, was a huge wolf. It was tucked into bed and snoring loudly. The woodcutter figured that the wolf had eaten Red Riding Hood, so at one swing of his axe, he cut open the wolf's bulging tummy, and out jumped Red Riding Hood and her grandma. Wait a minute. What kind of a wolf swallows its food without chewing? Anyway, with the wolf gone, everyone lived happily ever after. The end.